Chapter 1 Lin Su. Star City in August is the hottest time of the year. The fiery sun is baking the earth tirelessly. Even if the wind blows occasionally, it is mixed with waves of heat that are unbearable. At 4 o'clock in the afternoon, Lin Su, wearing a t-shirt, shorts, and a pair of wide-toed glasses on the bridge of his nose, walked out of the Star City International Airport with a flow of people. A black business car stopped at the exit. Lin Su glanced at the license plate, stepped forward, opened the door, and got in. Back. Go home first. To the cemetery. After the brief conversation, Lin Su closed his eyes and did not look at the driver from beginning to end. The driver was a guy about 28 or 29 years old. Seeing Lin Su's lukewarm attitude towards him, he smiled bitterly and shook his head. Without any nonsense, he kicked the accelerator and the car roared away. An hour later, Lin Su arrived at number 39, row 12, area A, Beishan Cemetery, holding flowers and a bottle of ergot. Looking at the photo of the old man on the tombstone, Lin Su's eyes, hidden under his sunglasses, looked extremely complicated. He placed the flowers and ergot in front of the tombstone, touched the cold tombstone and murmured, "You are really good at it. You threw me into that damn place," and walked away quietly. The old man was still talking about you before he left. Fortunately, you didn't disappoint him. It's a pity that he couldn't wait until this day. The guy behind him said, "When did you know that the old man had cancer?" Lin Su asked. The guy was silent, and after a moment he said, "Before you leave, why didn't you tell me?" "The old man won't tell you." Lin Su stood up fiercely and punched the opponent in the face with his backhand. Then Lin Su grabbed the other party's clothes and roared, "If he doesn't let you say it, why don't you say it?" The old man is afraid that you will give up this opportunity after knowing it. He knows very well how important this opportunity is to you. When Lin Su heard this, he looked at the other party fiercely, as if he wanted to eat him. Seeing this, the other party sighed softly and continued, "The old man should have been buried in Kyoto, but he chose this place instead. Do you know why? Not only because this is his hometown, but also because of you. He said he would wait here for your triumphant return." Lin Su's body trembled slightly, and after a moment, he pushed the other party hard and turned around to leave. The man looked at his back silently, raised his hand to wipe the blood from the corner of his mouth, and murmured, "Brat, this dog's temper is exactly the same as the old man's. No wonder the old man thinks so highly of you." Number 76, Bama Road. This is Lin Su's home, a very ordinary courtyard. After returning home, Lin Su filled the bathtub with water and soaked his whole body in the water. The scars on his body were as hideous and terrifying as centipedes. Especially some of them were in critical positions. If others had been injured like this, they would have died long ago. However, Lin Su is still alive. On the contrary, those who left him with these scars were sent to hell by him. The sky was getting dark, and the water in the bathtub had already cooled down, but Lin Su had no intention of getting up. He just stared at the ceiling blankly, not knowing what he was thinking. Suddenly, there was a sound of footsteps outside. Lin Su frowned and looked into the yard through the gap in the window. It was already dark and there were no lights on in the yard. Lin Su could only see a sneaky figure walking in. He narrowed his eyes and thought to himself, "Is this inviting a thief? He didn't come earlier, he didn't come later, but he came just when I came back. This little thief's luck is not very good." At that moment, Lin Su pulled the towel around his waist, got up, and left the bathroom. The little thief seemed to know that no one was in the house. He didn't turn on the light after entering the house. He went to the refrigerator and took out a bottle of drink and drank it, acting like a master. Lin Su sneered in his heart. Are thieves so arrogant these days? However, he did not go directly to subdue the other person. Instead, he folded his arms and leaned against the bathroom door frame, looking at the little thief with interest. The little thief's vigilance was so bad that he didn't realize there was someone standing not far behind him. After taking a few sips of the drink, the little thief entered the bedroom and closed the door. Soon, a little light came through the gap in the door. Obviously, the light was turned on. After waiting for a long time, but no one came out, Lin Su couldn't help but be speechless. Could it be that this little thief still planned to sleep here? He was too lazy to waste time with the other party. He stepped forward and kicked open the door. He was about to speak, but was dumbfounded. I saw a guy wearing only briefs standing next to the bed. That white body is really making people dizzy just looking at it. More importantly, this is actually a fucking woman. The other party was holding a piece of pajamas in his hand, ready to put it on. The door was suddenly kicked open, and she seemed to be startled, staring blankly at Lin Su standing at the door. Lin Su also looked at each other stupidly, and the two of them stared at each other with big eyes and small eyes. It wasn't until a few seconds later that the woman suddenly let out a sharp scream and hurriedly covered her important parts with the clothes in her hands. Almost at the same time as she screamed, Lin Su shuddered and came to his senses, quickly closed the door, and ran out. Just as he ran into the yard, Lin Su suddenly stopped in his tracks. He turned his head and glanced at the window that was still lit and murmured, "No, this is my fucking home. Why should I run away?" At that moment, Lin Su returned to the house, first went to the bathroom to put on clothes, and then came to the bedroom again. Just as he was about to knock on the door and ask, the bedroom door was suddenly opened. An angry figure punched and kicked Lin Su. "Son of a bitch, I'm going to kill you." "Hey, what are you doing?" "Stop," Lin Su said as he backed away. But how could that woman listen to him? He picked up the vase on the table and smashed it on Lin Su's head. Lin Su was shocked. Damn, so social. If it gets hit, it won't matter if it bleeds a little, but it will be a huge loss if it ruins your appearance. He quickly reached out to grab the vase in the woman's hand. This woman was really brave. When she saw Lin Su coming to grab the vase, she actually raised her leg and kicked Lin Su directly between his legs. Ouch, I fuck. Lin Su's face instantly turned purple and he squatted on the ground, covering his lower body. "Son of a bitch, how dare you peek at me?" The woman roared angrily and hit Lin Su hard on the head with the vase in her hand. Lin Su only felt a pain in his head and a wave of heat surged out. Seeing the woman pick up another object and throw it at him, he endured the pain and twisted his body to dodge the other party's attack. At the same time, he grabbed the other party's neck and pressed it lightly. The woman trembled, rolled her eyes, and fell to the ground. Lin Su picked her up by the waist and threw her heavily on the sofa. Grinning and rubbing his little brother between his legs, Lin Su cursed angrily. "Mada, what the hell is going on?" At this point, he could naturally tell that the woman was no longer a thief. But since she's not a thief, what's going on? After thinking about it, Lin Su took out his phone and dialed a number while comforting his injured little brother. The phone was quickly answered, and a familiar voice came over there. It was the guy who had gone to the airport to pick him up earlier. "Is something wrong?" the other party asked. "What do you think? What happened to that woman in my family?" Lin Su asked fiercely. The other party was stunned for a moment and then said, "Oh, look at my memory. I even forgot to tell you about this. Have you seen that girl?" "Stop fucking nonsense. Who is she? Why is she at my house?" "Her name is Nkur. Her grandfather and our old man are comrades in arms. She was admitted to Qingdao University this year, but the school hasn't started yet and she doesn't want to stay in a hotel, so I asked her to stay with you first." Lin Su's mouth twitched when he heard this, and he said in a vicious voice, "Yi Wu, this is my home. What qualifications do you have to let people live in your home? Why don't you let her live in your home?" "Hey, if she were my fiancée, I would definitely let her live in my house. But the problem is that she is your fiancée. If she doesn't live in your house, where will she live?" The guy on the other side of the phone said with a mean smile. "An unmarried wife." "Yeah, not bad, right?" Lin Su was speechless. What the hell is this? Why did a fiancé appear out of nowhere? Looking at the unconscious girl on the sofa, Lin Su closed his eyes and took a deep breath and said, "Come here immediately and tell me what is going on. If I don't see you for half an hour, I will demolish your house." Chapter 2, Girl. When Yiwu arrived at Lin Su's house, he saw Lin Su squatting at the door smoking a cigarette from a distance. The corners of his mouth turned up slightly, and he walked over. When he saw the wound on Lin Su's forehead, he suddenly became happy. "Oh, what's wrong? You just bled me this afternoon, and now you're bleeding yourself?" Lin Su threw away the cigarette butt and stamped it out fiercely. "Believe it or not, I will give you some more blood. Farewell. My body and bones can't withstand your torture. What about the girl?" Lin Su pointed to the room. Yiwu smiled, entered the room, and saw Ankir lying unconscious on the sofa. He looked at Lin Su and asked, "What did you do to her?" "Why don't you ask her what she did to me?" Lin Su said angrily. "Hey, was this girl the one who caused your injury? I said you were trying to do something to others, but they resisted vigorously, right? Get out. Do I really want to do anything that she resists? Tell me, what the hell is going on? What kind of fiancé?" "It's a long story." Yu pulled up a chair and sat down. He took out a cigarette and lit one, then threw another one to Lin Su and said, "Mr. N and our old man are close friends in life and death. When a company was wiped out on the battlefield, they were the only two brothers who survived. Later, Mr. N was discharged due to injury, and our old man stayed in the army. The two brothers, there was less contact. However, they had an agreement that they would get married if they had children in the future. But who would have thought that these two brothers were quite happy? Mr. N gave birth to 3 sons, and our father also gave birth to 2 sons, so this agreement has been extended to our generation." "You're telling me about novels? What the hell are we in this age? And you still get married with your fingertips?" Lin Su was speechless. "Hey, times are changing, but some things don't change. Even if this is the case, it should be you. Why should it be me?" Lin Su said. Yiwu rolled his eyes and said, "This is the only little princess of this generation in the Yin family. She is only 18. Your brother and I are 29. Do you still want me to eat young grass? Even if I am willing, she may not be willing. But you are different. You are only 24, and the age gap is not big, so it is just right. It's a good fit. I'm telling you, get this person away quickly. I don't recognize this matter. Anyone who wants to recognize it will recognize it. No, the old man specifically mentioned this before he died. If you don't admit it, you can't explain it to the old man." Lin Su frowned and said nothing. Yiwu patted him on the shoulder and said, "You, just accept it. Do you think this little girl is so beautiful, and she is the little princess of the Yin family? Is she not worthy of you?" While the two were talking, Ankir woke up leisurely on the sofa. She frowned slightly and rubbed her neck. When she saw Lin Su standing beside her, her expression changed instantly. "Son of a bitch, what did you do to me?" Lin Su curled his lips and said nothing, looking at Yiwu aside. Only then did Ankir realize that Yiwu was there. She was stunned and asked, "Brother Yiwu, why are you here?" "Kur, let me introduce you. He is my brother Lin Su." "What? Is he Lin Su?" "Humph, he is indeed a stinky hooligan." And Kir's eyes widened. "Hey, girl, be careful what you say." "Did I say something wrong? Who peeped at me changing clothes just now?" Lin Su's face turned red when he heard this. His eyes widened, but he didn't know what to say. Yiwu on the side smiled strangely and said, "What about this matter?" "Lin Su, I'm not telling you. Are you too impatient? Although Kur is your fiancé, this is the first time you two have met." "Shut up." Lin Su glared at him. Then he looked at Nkur and said, "I'm warning you not to talk nonsense. Why do you mean I peeked at you changing clothes? I just came back today, and I didn't know you lived here beforehand. I was taking a bath when I suddenly saw someone coming. I thought it was a thief." And Kir stared at Lin Su and sneered, "If I didn't know who you were before, I might have believed your lies." What the hell am I doing? Lin Su asked with a frown. Oh, what kind of thing are you? You don't know what you are? In the first grade of elementary school, you forced a girl into a corner and asked her to take off her pants. In the first grade of junior high school, you got into a fight with gangsters outside the school because of jealousy. When you were in high school, you wrote a love letter to your teacher and was blocked by your teacher's boyfriend in the class. You did all of this, right? I didn't accuse you wrongly, did I? Lin Su was dumbfounded. Yi Wu on the side also had a stunned expression. He blinked and asked, Kur, I don't know these things. How do you know? Humph, my grandpa found me a fiancé out of nowhere. I need to at least get to know him first, right? I came to Star City in advance just to get a feel for this guy. But I really didn't expect that he really has a brilliant resume. Based on the bad things he has done in the past, I would be polite to call him a stinker. Lin Su's face turned purple and he opened his mouth to explain, but he didn't know how to explain. Yi Wu smiled awkwardly, glared at Lin Su angrily, and then said to Nkur, Kur, Lin Su was a little fucked up in the past, but that's all in the past. Who can still have some unbearable past memories? Humph. A dog can't change its habit of eating shit, and its virtues as a child will not improve when it grows up. And Kur said with her hands folded in front of her chest. Hearing her words, Lin Su's anger suddenly emerged. He said, Yes, you are right. I am a fucking stinker. What's wrong? Shameless. Thank you for the compliment. Shameless. I'm shameless and proud. Watching the two of them fight like cockfighting cocks. Yi Wu rubbed his temples, feeling like he had a headache. And Kur, right? Since you don't like me, and I don't like you either, then let's not talk nonsense here. Pack your things and leave immediately. And Kur suddenly stood up, put her hands on her hips, and said, It's normal for me to look down on you. Why do you look down on me? Do you know how many people are chasing me? Oh, no wonder it's so difficult to register for ophthalmology in hospitals now. There are so many emotionally blind people. You. What am I? You have breasts, but no breasts. You have but no butt. I don't know where you get your confidence. Lin Su curled his lips and deliberately glanced at Nkur's chest. Looking at his eyes, Nkur couldn't help but think of the previous scene when they met naked. Her pretty face turned red instantly, Nkur bit her lower lip and glared at Lin Su fiercely. If looks could really kill, I'm afraid Lin Su would already be riddled with holes at this moment. When Lin Su saw her angry look, he felt so happy. He clasped his hands on his chest and looked at Nkur with a slightly evil smile. I thought to myself, little girl, fight with me? When Nkur saw Lin Su's triumphant look, she suddenly smiled. Don't you just want me to leave by saying all this? That's right. I won't send you away until you leave. Haha, there is something wrong with me. Whoever makes me unhappy, I will definitely make him even more unhappy. So, I won't leave yet. Not only today, I will still live here even if school starts. Until you apologize to me and beg for mercy. After saying that, Nkur ignored Lin Su and returned to the bedroom. Chapter 3: Meeting an Opponent. The living room fell silent for a moment. Lin Su stared in the direction of the bedroom dumbfounded, his mind filled with questions. This is not right. Why didn't this little girl's movie follow the script? Yi Wu on the side finally couldn't bear it any longer and started laughing. It wasn't until Lin Su looked at him fiercely that Yi Wu wiped the corners of his eyes, suppressed a smile, and said, Oh, you laughed so hard that I burst into tears. Lin Su, I suddenly realized that you and this girl are really well matched. Shut up if you can't speak. Am I worthy of her? Damn. Heh. You, Lin Su, are famous for your rebelliousness. Even the leader of your army has a headache. I always thought that no one in the world except the old man could subjugate you, but now someone finally appears. Humph. I just don't want to be like that little girl. Lin Su snorted. Okay, whatever you say is fine. But Lin Su, I have something to ask you. If you fart, let it go. The things Kur said just now were really things you did before? Lin Su's expression darkened, and 3 black lines appeared on his forehead. The things that the girl said had indeed happened, but they were not what they thought. However, Lin Su didn't bother to explain. Sometimes things changed after being passed around. Just like some people always like to talk about some famous quotes, but in fact, those so-called famous quotes have not been said at all, or they have said it, but the meaning is not what they understand. Are you okay? Lin Su looked at Yi Wu fiercely. Yi Wu shrugged, stood up and said, Okay, I'm leaving. I'll officially hand over Nkur to you. Don't bully others. Her brothers are not good. Humph. You can't afford to hide if you can't offend me. I'll go back to the army tomorrow. If she likes to live here, let her live here by herself. Lin Su snorted. Hearing this, Yu's lips turned up slightly with a strange smile and said, You don't have to go back to the army for the time being. Huh. Lin Su looked at him with some confusion. The old man had other arrangements for you before he left. I don't know what the arrangements were. He just told you to wait for news when you come back. When it is finalized, someone from the military will contact you. By the way, the old man also asked me to prepare an admission notice for Xingda University, which is in the drawer of your room. When the school starts in a few days, you can sign up with Nkur. Xingda, what are you doing? I'm already 24, and I'm going to Mao's University. Lin Su stared. Aren't we afraid that you will be bored? By the way, I will give you more opportunities to get along with Nkur and cultivate your relationship. Seeing that Lin Su was still talking, Yi Wu said again, This is arranged by the old man. It's up to you whether to go or not. Lin Su's mouth twitched, and he glared at Yi Wu fiercely without saying a word. Seeing this, Yi Wu smiled and said, Actually, it's good to go to college. Anyway, you are idle now. Just think of it as experiencing the wonderful college life and recharging yourself. College life is a rare experience in life. It will always be a regret not to experience it once. After watching Yi Wu leave, Lin Su leaned heavily on the sofa, rubbing his numb face with a look of helplessness. Even if he felt 100 or 1,000 dissatisfactions in his heart, he couldn't refuse the old man's arrangement. Forget it. Just go. Who is afraid of whom? If I can't even control a little girl's movie, then do I, Lin Su, still have the dignity to live? Lin Su thought to himself, glanced at the room where Nkur was, curled his lips, and returned to his room. When the sky just turned white, Lin Su had already gotten up. Seeing that Nkur's door was still closed, he came to the yard and started morning exercises with a half-smiling expression on his face. He deliberately chose to sit in front of Ankur's window, doing push-ups and counting numbers loudly. Not long after, Lin Su heard Nkir's angry roar coming from the room. Then Nkir, who was wearing pajamas, ran out angrily and said to Lin Su, Are you going to die? What is the name of a ghost so early in the morning? Are you going to let people sleep? This is my home. I'm happy with it. Can you take care of it? Lin Su said leisurely. Nkur glared at Lin Su bitterly and said, Okay, you're going to be cruel. After saying that, she turned back to the room and closed the door heavily. The corners of Lin Su's mouth turned up slightly and he murmured, Little girl, fight with me? I want to see how many days you can resist. After the morning exercise, Lin Su returned to the house to take a shower and then go out for a walk. But who would have thought that as soon as I put the bath liquid on my body, there would suddenly be no water? He was stunned and shouted outside, Nkur, turn on the water for me. I pay all the water and electricity bills this month. I can turn them on or off whenever I want. Can you take care of that? Can't you open it? Don't open it. Lin Su twitched the corner of his mouth, picked up the towel, wiped it on his body, and left the bathroom. I saw Nkir lying on the sofa, watching TV and eating snacks. Lin Su took a deep breath and nodded. Okay, it seems that we have met an opponent. Do you want to play, right? Then let's have a good time. I'm happy to accompany you. Whoever admits defeat first will have a grandson. And Nkur showed no sign of weakness. Lin Su sneered, said no more, and left home. Lin Su didn't know what he was doing all day long and didn't come back until evening. And Kur was eating takeout. When she saw Lin Su coming back, she smiled half-heartedly and said, "Hey, you're back. I thought some people would hide outside and not dare to come back. Have you washed off the foam on your body? There is someone who will hide outside and dare not come back, but that person is definitely not me," Lin Suxie said with a smile. Before Nkir could speak, he cleared his throat and continued. "I now officially announce that starting from today, a new member will move in." And Kur raised her brows and said with a smile, "Haha, this is the rhythm of moving reinforcements. Where are the people? Anyway, beating one is still a beating, beating two is still a beating." When Lin Su heard this, the smile on his face became even more sinister. He took out something from his arms and said, "Dang, dang, dang, dang. Our new member is invited to make his debut." Seeing the thing in his hand, Ankur was stunned for a moment and then let out a sharp scream. It turned out to be a small green snake. It was entangled in Lin Su's hand and kept spitting out messages. Seeing Ankur's bewildered look, Lin Su's smile became even wider. "You little boy, are you going to fight with me? I can't scare you to death." But soon, the smile on his face solidified, and Nkir quickly stepped forward and snatched the little snake from his hand. His eyes were shining brightly as he said, "Ah, what a cute green snake." As she said that, she raised her head and tilted her head to look at Lin Su and said, "How do you know I like snakes? I have several of them at home in Zhezhou." Lin Su was instantly petrified. And Kun's mouth turned up slightly, and she murmured in her heart, "You stinky scoundrel. You still want to scare me? You didn't know where you were when I was playing with the snake."